Good morning and welcome to the new edition of Frontiers of Knowledge. One of the biggest fear of mankind is heart attack, cardiac arrest. And the first sign of a heart attack in many cases is the heart attack itself when it happens. Until it happens, one is going around, one doing one's work calmly, peacefully, without a word in the world. And all of a sudden there is this pain, jaw or arm, and angina takes effect. Or it may be myocardial infarction. But the heart attack is a serious problem facing this civilization. And now Google has created artificial intelligence software. This intelligence software calculates your risk of heart disease. There was a recent study published in the Nature Biomedics Medical Engineering Journal, and Google and its subsidiary, Verily Life Sciences, they have created a new algorithm, and that algorithm can predict whether a patient is likely to have a major cardiovascular attack called heart attack or stroke within the next 5 years or not. So human beings now would have a window of 5 years if they are checked regularly, and that window gives sufficient time to change your lifestyle, your attitude, your food, or anything that can cause a heart attack, a stroke, or such debilitating diseases. Now, and then how do they do it? They scan your retina, and by scanning the retina, they are able to judge whether you will have a heart attack in the next 5 years or not. As a matter of fact, the use of retina to detect disease is not something new. People have been doing it, the doctors, to predict diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and some cancers during eye exams. And now Google has framed an artificial intelligence software which will identify cardiovascular risks by having the system analyze retina and health data. And can you believe it? They tested it on 284,000 patients, looked at the retinal fundus images, and they could detect the risk factors from the cardiovascular diseases, include age, blood pressure, gender, among other things. And based on an eye scan, this algorithm can predict your age also within 3 to 26 years, smoking status with 71% accuracy, and blood pressure within 11 units of upper number. And based on that, they have developed this software. As a matter of fact, at present they are using a blood test to predict risk of cardiovascular diseases. And that is not as advanced as to predict and give a 5 years window for before the attack happens. The leading cause of death is, as I said earlier, stroke, heart attack, and if that can be predicted, it can be a boon to those patients. At present, they are saying that the possibility would be that the probability of success is 72%, and they are also saying that quite possible with the honing up of the software, they can predict it in 100% cases and not in the 5 years, but in 7 to 10 years. The benefit of this is, as I said earlier, if you know that in the next 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 7 years, you're going to have an heart attack, you can find out the cause of that, whether it's your lifestyle, whether it's a stress management, whether it's a job, or whatever, and then take remedial steps to get better. And it has been seen that the people who can track the algorithms were relying on it to make its prediction. The system creates a map area, a heat map area where it wants to detect, and that heat map area, seen from the retina, they say, is always reliable. So, this is a good news for the human beings, that one of the major fears can be told beforehand. And as the saying goes, forearm bond is forearm. Here, artificial intelligence comes to your aid. But the second development that has taken place is alarming for most of the people. On the one hand, we are given the hope that cardiovascular diseases can be predicted 5 to 7 years ahead of time, giving us that period as a window in which we can change ourselves for a better, healthier life. However, the scientists have also said that the symbol of masculinity, the Y chromosome, is disappearing sharply. And it is all the more so in the Western countries than the Eastern countries. This Y chromosome carries the master switch gene, called SRY, which determines whether the embryo will develop as a male or a female, XY or XX. And now this Y chromosome is slowly and steadily disappearing. As a matter of fact, the scientists say that Y chromosome has been degenerating for a long time, but now the process of degeneration is much more. And that leaves the female with the 2 perfectly normal X chromosomes. And the doctor says it's a long time, but considering that the human life, or the life in whole, has existed on this earth for 3.5 billion years, and in that period, Y chromosome has been decreasing, and now it's disappearing. If we rewind the clock to 166 million years, which is the age of the first mammals, the story is different. The proto-Y chromosome originally were of the same size as X chromosome, but slowly and steadily they went ahead. And then the shortfall down, and that's why you see in most of the countries, the female generation, female number is higher than the male number because the Y chromosome is missing. A new Danish study says that chromosome has been tested from 62 different men, and it was found that they are losing this every year, slowly and steadily. This like a kayak which is in a stream, and when the downstream is fast, it disappears fast, it travels faster. And in East, the lifestyle, in Africa, the lifestyle is not hectic enough, while it's much hectic in the West. And now in the East, where lifestyle is becoming hectic, as in India, as in Japan, the same thing is happening there. The high rate of the disappearance of the Y chromosome is changing the gender gap, with the result that a time would come when the male might become a rare commodity. As a matter of fact, in 2016, a research was done and it was found in Japan that almost 80% of the new males have lost their Y chromosome entirely. So they depend on the artificial chromosomes created by drugs when they take it. But that's a weak one and is not sufficient enough to affect. So does it mean the demise of the male? However, the scientists say that Y chromosome in the humans, does it disappear? And it would disappear, but it does not mean that the male species on the way out. The only thing would be that the master switch would change and quite possible a new chromosome would be created because nature abhors vacuum. But nevertheless, for the male ego, it's a stunning blow. Recovering from the fear of heart attack, receiving a stunning blow that the male ego is in danger of disappearance. Let's see how can the male or the female become more emphatic. Empathy, we always say, is important. But how do you develop it? And now a study has come that people who have brothers or sisters develop more empathy than those who are the only child. They say that the parents positively develop the child and their role is extremely important. And now the scientists say that more important is the role of the brothers and sisters. This research has been done in the University of Toronto and University of Calgary combined, and they say that the love, the warmth and the support from the elder sibling to the younger one helps in language development and understanding of others' minds and the points of view. Father and the mother are the authority figures. So, any authority is always looked upon as to be kept at a distance, certain distance. But the sibling is seen more on the equal footing. And we have seen that the children who are kind, sportive and understanding influence their brothers or sisters to behave in a similar manner. If one sibling is struggling to be developing empathy and the sibling has a greater empathy, the other child would also develop the same. As a matter of fact, the younger children respond to an adult who pretends to be upset, and the children have a fear. But a brother or a sister is upset, and then that fear is not there. And it's not only the elder brothers and sisters who have an impact. It is even the younger ones who have an impact on the more experienced and knowledgeable older brothers and sisters. As a matter of fact, the age does not play a major role. It is the interaction almost at a level, equal level. And if it is not equal, it's not that unequal as the level between the parents and the children. Age matters. If the difference in the children is, they say, is more than 4 years, then they don't impact the way they would ordinarily impact. The ideal difference should be between 2 to 4 years for one child to impact the other. If the age is more, then again the sense of doubt creeps in and the learning becomes learning acquired learning rather than coming to the other child by nature. So, whether you have the Y chromosome or not, you can still play a major role in making your younger or elder brothers and sisters full of empathy to be better human beings. So these developments, two in the human physiology and one for the psychology, show that the change would always be there and change would be for the better. Thank you.